Donald Trump was absolutely raging in public over Fox host Jessica Tarlov. Donald Trump posted, "I can't stand Jessica Tarlov of the five, a real loser, exclamation point, DJT." And despite state regime media, aka Fox, doing everything it can to cover up for Donald Trump's Epstein connections and to try to cover up for Donald Trump's disastrous trade war against the world and to act even more embarrassing than Kim Jong-un's media, the fact that they have one voice, Jessica Tarlov, that's not out there kissing Trump's ass, Donald Trump has to attack her, a powerful female crushing it on the Fox. Shout out Jessica Tarlov right there. And by the way, Donald Trump posted that after Jessica called the immigrant cop who got killed by an American citizen at the mass shooting in Manhattan. She called him a hero. And that led to Donald Trump posting that. That was the segment that then Donald Trump made that post. Let me show you what state regime media was doing. Then let me show you what Jessica Tarlov was doing. But here we have Jesse Waters. It's one of their top propagandists. And he's like, Donald Trump knew how to weaken the Europeans. He squeezed $1 trillion out of them. No, he squeezed $1 trillion out of them. Okay, Jesse. And it's just a bizarre thing. Trump didn't even have to wave a wand. He waved his 6-iron. Here, play this clip.
Trump knows how weak the Europeans are, and he squeezed $1 trillion out of them. Trump's imposing his will on the world and making other countries invest here after decades of American companies investing over there. Obama said this was impossible, that you couldn't just wave a magic wand. Trump didn't wave a wand. He waved a 6-iron.
So humiliating. By the way, the European Union says the agreement's not binding. They cannot guarantee $600 billion of investments into the United States. It's yet another one of Donald Trump's fake deals. And here Jesse Waters says, there's no recession. Inflation never spiked. Most companies are eating the tariffs. There's no inflation. Everything is great right now. Everything is wonderful. No, it's not. There's literally inflation rising right now. Things are more expensive right now. Companies ate some of it, but now they're passing a lot on to the consumers. We see what's happening if we leave our homes and don't live in the MAGA mush Fox bubble. Here, play this clip.
The recession never happened. Inflation never spiked. And most companies are just eating the tariff and not passing price hikes to consumers.
And then Jesse Waters continues to try to attack Europe. And he's like, Europe now calls Donald Trump daddy. They call him daddy. Here, play this clip.
Remember how they said Trump was a taco president, a.k.a. Trump always chickens out? Well, the world chickened out. Europe called him daddy, and daddy just gave him a spanking. And now they're worried about daddy's mood swings.
While you were in a bad mood, was it a bad morning of golf, or were you not in a good mood?
No, the golf was beautiful.
And just so with daddy, they call him dad. What's up with Fox and calling Trump daddy? It's very strange, very cultish behavior. Then you had Varney on Fox asked Donald Trump's transportation secretary, Sean Duffy. Hey, Sean. And by the way, Sean Duffy got famous on a reality show, Real World Road Rules Challenge. That's where Sean Duffy got famous from. And then here Varney says, it seems like a whole lot of problems began to surface with airplanes the moment you took over. So is there any connection there? To which Duffy says, kind of unchallenged by Varney, yeah, I do, because it shows how bad Buttigieg's leadership is. Because Buttigieg just passed off the problems to me, and I inherited all of the problems that Biden and Buttigieg created. You know what a leader does? A leader takes accountability and responsibility, Duffy, but you wouldn't know that. You got famous off of Real World Road Rules Challenge. There weren't these things happening under Pete Buttigieg because he ran the department competently, did not fire and force out air traffic control and other critical workers. And maybe that's one of the things that Buttigieg is. Anyway, here's what Duffy says. Here, play this clip.
It seems like a whole lot of problems surfaced as soon as you took office. Do you blame your predecessor, Buttigieg, for this?
Well, I do, because, again, when leaders see problems, they can't ignore the problem and pass it off to the next guy. What you should do is actually fix the problem. And so, again, with what happened in Newark, they moved that center, which controls the Newark airport, from N90 in New York down to Philadelphia. Before you move it, Stuart, you should test the lines. Make sure it's sound, safe, and secure. It's resilient. They never did that. They just moved the facility from New York to Philadelphia to control Newark. And in the end, it wasn't ready for prime time. They had numerous outages in the last administration, and we had the big 230-second outages under this administration. But we're doing what they wouldn't do, which is we're going to fix it.
And by the way, Duffy's tan just looks absolutely ridiculous. And then one of the things that Duffy says is, look, the Biden administration, they never even cared about air travel because for them, the war on carbon means that they didn't even travel on airplanes. Dude, what are these people talking about? Like, how can people watch this network and go, oh, I'm getting my news? It's just these are the dumbest people imaginable. Here, play this clip.
The last administration should have done that. But again, they didn't care about safety, Stuart. They didn't care about air travel because I don't think they wanted you to travel. They wanted you to sit at home because when you travel, you use carbon and they have a war on carbon. So sit at home, don't travel. And if we can slow it down, make it harder, they're better off with their green scam.
Oh, and then you have Mike Huckabee saying that by France and potentially the UK recognizing a Palestinian state, he says that's like letting the Nazis have a victory after World War II. And Huckabee's the ambassador to Israel. What are you talking about right now? How is that like the Nazis having a victory after World War II? What are you talking about? There should be a two-state solution. We should recognize a free Palestine. Absolutely we should. And the starvation and torture of what's taking place to innocent Palestinians right now in Gaza and elsewhere is horrific. And it should be called out. And it's not anti-Semitic to call out what Netanyahu's doing, what Huckabee's doing. Stop weaponizing the term anti-Semitism to act like you can't be criticized for engaging in horrific acts in Gaza. Sorry. Play this clip.
I read also that the Prime Minister of the UK is thinking of doing the same thing. Do you see this as a diplomatic march on behalf of many countries to try to get this done?
Well, it's a very foolish thing to do because all it's doing is setting back any hope that Hamas is going to give up. This emboldens them, and that's what Macron is doing. And if Macron is so determined to create a Palestinian state, Dana, I've suggested that he could carve out a part of the French Riviera and he could create one in his own country. Why isn't he taking in people from Gaza who would like to leave voluntarily? Why isn't the UK doing it? If they're that headstrong about relieving the suffering of the people in Gaza, let them be the first to step up and not only take in refugees, but why aren't they contributing to the food distribution? They're not. They've done nothing. They've not lifted a finger. All they lift is their tongue. And what they're saying is very detrimental to any future peace process. And it's certainly detrimental to dealing with Gaza right now. It has just made Hamas feel like that they have a real opportunity to declare a victory. That would be like letting the Nazis have a victory after World War II. What a disaster.
Switching gears for a minute, let's talk about one of the most dangerous moves coming out of the Trump administration right now. And no, this one's not getting enough attention. Trump's Environmental Protection Agency, now headed by far-right former Congressman Lee Zeldin, is preparing to eliminate the endangerment finding. And it's a cornerstone of U.S. climate action. That is the 2009 scientific determination that greenhouse gases endanger public health and welfare. Without that, the legal foundation for regulating emissions, it's gone. That's right, they are claiming that greenhouse gases don't endanger people, and they are using that lie to destroy regulations that protect people and the climate. Zeldin calls this the holy grail of the climate change religion. You know what I call it? An attempt to gut the very framework that allows the government to fight the climate crisis. And this move comes in the same week the United Nations top court, yes, the International Court of Justice, issued a unanimous opinion stating that countries have a legal duty under international law to protect the environment from man-made greenhouse gas emissions. Let that sink in. The rest of the world is moving forward while Trump's America is sprinting backwards. Zeldin claims it's about lowering costs for families, but the ICJ put it plainly. A clean environment is a prerequisite for basic human rights like the right to health, life, and access to water and food. What we're seeing is a full-scale dismantling of science, diplomacy, and public health, and it's not just the climate on the line, it's America's standing in the world too. While 130 nations backed a call for global climate accountability, Trump is leaving the US isolated, clinging to fossil-fueled fantasies while the planet burns. This isn't policy. It's sabotage, and we can't afford to be quiet about it. So do this right now. Let me know what you think about this in the comments. Keep making noise. Make sure that they know that we are watching their every move. Okay, Ben, back to you.
More from Jesse Waters bragging that Donald Trump has dad strength in golfs. What are you talking about? Here, play this clip.
Iran, the border, government spending. So Trump is politically jacked. And that's what Swalwell doesn't understand. People respect you for doing things that are hard and lifting things that are heavy. Trump has real strength. Swalwell is trying to look strong, and that's the difference. Trump golfs. He has dad strength, though. You know dad strength? He doesn't look like he's in shape, but when he grabs you, one time my father grabbed me, and I was like, oh my God, this guy's stronger than I am.
Were you 8?
And I was like 18.
Then they bring on Mark Wayne Mullen, MAGA Republican senator. And Mark Wayne Mullen's like, you see what's really happening here about everything is Democrats are just lying about everything. Play this clip.
And really all they need to do is just be yourself. How about you just start with being honest? But the Democrat Party hasn't been honest with the American people for at least 8 years, right? I mean, we can go back to Obama drumming up this whole Russia escapade against President Trump. And I would say it probably goes back much farther than that.
What are you talking about, dude? Could we just take one step back for a second? Okay, yesterday upon Air Force One, Donald Trump said that Epstein would steal little girls from Mar-a-Lago. He stole them from me. They were mine. And Epstein stole them. And I told them, don't steal the girls. Were they underage girls? Yeah, they were underage. Was it like Virginia Giuffre, who Epstein eventually sex trafficked after he found her at Mar-a-Lago? Yeah. I told him, they're my property. You don't steal them. Don't steal. Like that happened yesterday. Can we acknowledge that that happened yesterday and that's not normal what's happening? Okay. Anyway, to try to distract from that, you know, Jesse Waters and Fox, they just try to make a mockery of politics in general so that it's all just like weird and it's all viewed as like a weirdo thing versus like people need help right now. People are struggling right now. People are having trouble putting food on the table. People are living paycheck to paycheck. People are losing their health care. People are getting laid off. People can't afford things right now. People can't afford homes. But this is what they're talking about on Fox. And they do this. I'm going to show you this montage we created of the stuff that Jesse Waters has been saying recently. Because they want to make this all unserious, to live in their weirdo dystopian world and make you forget that politics is about helping people, not this WWE cosplay fascism. But play this clip.
Europe called him daddy, and daddy just gave him a spanking. And now they're worried about daddy's mood swings. Daddy hates leaks in the house. The question is, who's daddy going to negotiate with? So did daddy do it or did daddy do it? Trump is politically jacked. Trump golfs. He has dad strength, though. You know dad strength? He doesn't look like he's in shape, but when he grabs you, one time my father grabbed me and I was like, oh my God, this guy's stronger than I am. That doesn't mean I have a homosexual crush on them. I'm just saying I appreciate their acting skills. Very strong heterosexual credentials. Real men don't talk about how they can beat other guys up. They don't talk about how masculine they are. Men don't wave simultaneously with both hands.
No.
We wave with one hand. Primetime would wish him a happy birthday, but we have rules here. Men don't wish men happy birthdays. Men should never cross their legs. What kind of man takes a bubble bath? Stephen Miller, should grown men be taking bubble baths? Men don't wish other men happy birthday. What do you notice? Doug's breaking the rules. He's leaning in, like Barack leans into Michelle. Men should never lean. What kind of husband goes grocery shopping with his wife? This guy, Tampon, lets his wife order for him at dinner. Men should not move this way. It's not the way we move. But Tim says he's a man's man, even if he uses a straw. Women love masculinity, and women do not love Tim Walz. So that should just tell you about how masculine Tim Walz is. The other day, you saw him with a vanilla ice cream shake. Had a straw in it. Oh. Again, that tells you everything. There's nothing not manly about wearing white jeans. And I say this with a unblemished record of heterosexuality. He looks good. I think he's fine. I don't need to know what pills he's taking or what he's not taking. He looks great. Hoax alert, new hoax alert. Woo, woo. I am not wearing lip gloss, lipstick, lip liner, anything on my lips. I think it's because I'm just so tan, and the contrast with my lips may have been a little chapped because I work out so much.
Now, finally, I want to show you what Jessica Tarlov said that led to Donald Trump raging against her and attacking her publicly and spending his time doing that. Here, this is what she said. She said, "I'm heartbroken for Julia, Wesley, and the 2 officers taken too soon in the mass shooting in New York. Heroes, parents, neighbors, gone because a man with a documented mental illness still got a gun. We had an assault weapons ban. It worked. We can save lives. Doing nothing is a choice." Here, play this clip.
I'm completely devastated and heartbroken by this. It's, you know, where I grew up. I know people who know both of the female victims, Julia Hyman and Wesley LePatner, who seem like incredible people and members of their community. Julia Hyman, only 4 years out of college, just getting started. Wesley LePatner's 2 children away at camp. And this is the news that they get on a phone call. What a hero. I didn't know, and I still don't know much about the second officer, but Officer Islam, hearing that last night, that he has 2 kids and an 8-month pregnant wife, unimaginable. I don't know how women who go through this, and I know that this happens with a lot of couples where someone is serving, you know, at home or abroad. I don't know how you carry on a pregnancy when you have lost your partner like that, and I wish her all the strength in the world. Jessica Tisch continues to impress at an astounding level to me. I thought Mayor Adams was also good yesterday, but as we are on the precipice of another election, I can't help but say again, I wish that Jessica Tisch had felt that she was ready. Right now, maybe she runs again in the next election, but I feel that she embodies the grace and the professionalism and the efficiency that a Mayor Bloomberg did, and I would welcome that. On the gun control front, what Kathy Hochul is talking about is the fact that when we did have an assault weapons ban from 1994 to 2004, we saw a decrease in mass shootings in this country, 70% less likely to happen. And then when the ban sunsetted, it spiked back up. That's what she's talking about. And you say, this is a crazy person, this isn't the norm. Of course that's the case. But he had a documented mental health history. He had his prescription meds on him, apparently, according to the reporting. How did he get a concealed carry license, even in Nevada? How are these things happening? And I don't think that it hurts the conversation or takes us backward at all to consider how we might prevent one of these things from happening. You will never be able to stop all of the lunatics. But if you stopped this one, we'd have 4 people that were alive today who certainly deserve to. And I don't see why that it's a bad thing to do that. Also, on the CNN commentator point where he said, you know, maybe he's a white guy, I saw all over social media that the perpetrator was of Middle Eastern descent, and people were jumping to that before we found out that actually it wasn't the case at all. He's an American, half black, half Japanese.
Well said, Jessica. Well said. Oh, and then Donald Trump raged and said, everybody's saying that I was solely responsible for firing Stephen Colbert from CBS Late Night. That is not true. The reason he was fired was a pure lack of talent and the fact that this deficiency was costing CBS $50 million a year in losses, and it was only going to get worse. Next up will be an even less talented Jimmy Kimmel, and then a weak and very insecure Jimmy Fallon. The only real question is who will go first. Showbiz and television is very simple business. If you get ratings, you can say or do anything. If you don't, you always become a victim. Colbert became a victim to himself. The other 2 will follow. No, I mean, Colbert renegotiated his contract in 2023, and then you and your FCC bullied CBS into a settlement with you, and you're using the federal government to attack comedians, and it's utterly, utterly freaking pathetic. That's what you're posting on your official presidential account. Anyway, everybody, hit subscribe. Let's get to 6 million subscribers. Thanks for watching.
Love this video? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram @MeidasTouch and help us blow past 1 million followers.